Hi, I'm Linda, and I met Rayen a little over 21 years ago. I had found an ad for the band that he was in, Lunatic Candy Creep, in Metal Edge, and they were playing a show 30 miles north of where I was living at the time. So at 20 years old, I hopped in my mom's car and I went to the first concert that I ever went to by myself. And this was also my first LCK show. And that was at the original Ground Zero in Spartanburg, South Carolina on December 23rd, 1997. After that, Rayen and I kind of stayed in touch a little bit through AOL, emails, that type of thing. LCKs, that whole thing was my first music family. The fans that I had made friends with were more like family than they were other friends. The dynamic between the band and the fans was quite a bit different than just band and fans. So I really do love that that was my first music family. I've had a few since then, but I love that that's the first one that I had. LCK's last show was in December of 1998. After that, I kept in touch with Rayen. It was kind of off and on. And then one day I was traveling up north. I don't remember where I was going. And Rayen and I had been talking again. And he's like, hey, why don't I meet you at the IHOP in Charlotte on your way up? He's like, but I don't look like what you remember me looking like. So I remembered Rayen looking like this guy, pale guy with long black hair like down to his waist. He would wear makeup, vinyl pants, suede shirt, not suede, velvet shirts, that type of thing. And the guy that showed up at IHOP had short platinum blonde hair. And he looked like a 90s boy band dude. So that was his platinum boy band phase, era, whatever. I never got to see them play or perform anything like that. The next era of his that I, was a part of was Ultraside, which was his alt rock band. I saw them play a few times in Charlotte. But this was is still my favorite time with Rayen because on a personal level, it was when we were the closest. And he used to call me, it would be 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And he would be like, hey, listen to this song I just wrote. And so I would lay there and just grin from ear to ear that, he was playing songs for me and he, came to me first and he was like, hey, what do you think? And that just meant a lot to me. It still does. And he would play these songs and be like, what do you think? And I'd be like, this is great. And they were all great songs that he was starting to write and whatnot. And he's like, do you think it's a radio hit? And I'm like, well, they can't all be radio hits, but they pretty much could have been radio hits. I really think the Ultraside was his era, period, whatever, of him beginning to slide into the singer-songwriter that he is today. After Ultraside, we kind of, did the whole life happens. We would fade in and out of each other's lives, check in on birthdays, holidays. Some memory would hit us and we would, text each other or something. And I always knew it was him. It would be like, hey, crackhead. And so, a couple years after that, we were talking again. And he's like, hey, did you know I'm Kid Kid again? Because that was his name in Lunatic Candy Creep. And I was like, no, what do you mean? And I was excited a little bit. I was like, is Lunatic Candy Creep a thing again? And he's like, oh, I was in this band, Wednesday 13, and I did this album and did this tour and that kind of stuff. And so that was pretty awesome. I was still working in a music store at that point. So I bought that album and I was showing it off to everybody. This is my little brother. And of course, he's not really my little brother, but he's exactly 1 week younger than I am. And so he He's my little brother. He used to call me kid sister way back in the day. But like I said, his ultra side days were kind of, where he started to become the singer-songwriter that he is. And it's where he needs to be and where he always wanted to be, I think. I think he always wanted to be a singer-songwriter. And that's always been like the biggest thing in his heart. And then he just had to grow up, and not like grow up, but we had to get older and mature and get experience and that type of thing. And he just had to get better and better, and that's what he's done. And so his solo stuff is, like I said, it's where he needs to be. This is what he needs to be doing, the singer-songwriter stuff. And it's the proudest of him that I am with his singing and songwriting, because it's, it's the greatest. And I hate that I've not actually been up there to see him play any of his solo stuff yet. I have seen one Bourbon Crow show when they came here a couple months ago, last year. It was last year, wow. And that was the first time I had seen him in years and years, and so that was really good. But so we've kind of drifted in and out again. I really plan to come up there at some point. I'm down in Georgia now, so I need to travel all the way back up there towards the Rock Hill, Charlotte area, so that I can see him play at some point this year. I really am going to do it. I am. And so, yeah, I mean, it's been 21 years with Rayen, and hopefully it'll be another 21 more. So I love you, Rayen.